report on all of the work that you've been up to, but you know, everything from Neil pulling together the flowers for Ron Morrison's service to Chris working on the collective bargaining plan. It's all been really helpful, and thank you all. I'll let you report on the bargaining, but I think that the town right now is I feel like we're in a really good place, and it's been a long time coming, but I've been happy with the meetings recently. It feels like so many different issues are progressing in many ways. We've moved to a model where the individual council members are bringing their own resolutions and ideas, and I think that, you know, that's a really healthy approach to things. New ideas can come to the table, we can debate them, we can discuss them, but it's something that I'm really happy about, so thank you all. I'm working on figuring out just the proper approach for doing the minutes, and Linda, we can talk about it, but the associations of towns has been really helpful. So next month I should have a resolution on that. I look forward to resolving the solar issue. I think that we should consider an opt-out as Minden did. And again, we need to move forward on the communications piece. I've been updating the town website myself. I added Mark so he can do updates on the planning board page, but it's most certainly not an ideal situation. We really need to have regular updates, not by the town supervisor. It needs to be an administrative function. And we all council members, Betty, I sent you the email.
I got it yesterday, but
right.
I was having problems getting on it, so.
Okay. You'll need to find somebody to, right. You know, if it's a Google account, so if you just.
She's got it. She's got it now. I helped her with it earlier.
Oh,
Yeah, she did it here, but I haven't done it at home yet.
Okay, great. Linda, same thing.
Yeah, I got on.
And if we need a training on Gmail, that's fine.
No, I'm on already.
You're on, so you're good.
I can see what somebody gives me, but I can't see anybody else's. Is that the way it's supposed to be? Only if I'm CC'd, I'll see the emails. I've only got about 6 emails on there.
Yes, on that account, but I mean, the clerk should really be the administrator for the account, and then that way, basically, all emails that we send from that account are automatically stored. So if you have a FOIL request, you can just draw them, you know.
It may be that it's only you because everybody else seems to get my emails, but I seem not to be able to email you.
Mm-hmm.
I emailed you twice yesterday. One was part of a joint mass emailing, and the other was part of an individual.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look into that.
If other people are getting it, then it can't be a problem with the account. Is there any possibility that you're typing the wrong address?
Well, no, it was always in round robin response to something else you said, except
then I
did
would
type.
get it. It may be that if you sent it yesterday, I just haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that could be. But I wanted to say that the ethics, a couple of us from the ethics committee met, and we want to come forward next month rather than this one.
Yeah.
Having looked at that, it's going to be complex.
Okay, I know. Yeah. Well, I'll let you report on that.
Okay, but I'm not. Yeah.
You're not ready. That's fine.
Not ready.
Yeah. And that's about it for now. Council comments.
I'll let others go first.
That was my comment.
With the cleaning and mowing here within the facility, I contacted Mid-Atlantic Perfection Simmons, Gloversville, no interest whatsoever. Light cleaning, that's Fort Plain. That woman told me she just plain didn't have the manpower at that point. I also contacted Mid-Valley in Nelliston, Ron Smith, and Mrs. M's as well. We settled with Mrs. M's. They had the lower bid. This is a month-to-month contract. There is no seasonal, and we'll see how it goes. Next on to the cemeteries, and thank you, Michelle, for the information you gave me. It's quite helpful. I actually got Janine, and on Monday, they worked. If you go up and take a look at the Carmen Court, it looks nice. They did a decent job. They They worked on Nelliston. They had to do it actually 2 phases. On July 4, again, I'll remind them, previous to that, and Labor Day to get those taken care of.
Neil, are they going up the hillside or are they going up the street to get to Nelliston? Because my husband said he saw them on the street, but I don't know how they would get through.
Okay. Okay, that I'm not sure of. I told, they know where the right-of-way is along that gentleman's property up
I just
there.
don't know how overgrown it is if they can even get up there with it.
Yeah,
You know,
I
they're
was
not
up
going to
there-
be able to do much to that cemetery.
No, I was physically, yeah, there's many, many stones stacked over.
But
very
that's not what they
deteriorated.
do. They just do the mowing and
Right,
trimming.
right, very deteriorated, quite sad shape. I don't know if there's any way we could have something done with those stones. I don't know. It would be nice if we could.
Maybe
The
it's
majority
great.
I looked at, I was completely unable to even get anything legible off those stones.
Right, but that's because of the non-use for so many. I can count on one hand the number of times since I've lived there in almost 56 years that people have gone up there.
Okay.
But the town is not responsible for the stones.
No,
and
no, no,
that,
no.
So,
But I was gonna see if we could contact, if there isn't a volunteer group or
Right.
something that can
Right.
handle that. And, let me do, if
yeah,
anybody has any ideas, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe we can get an Eagle Scout project to get up there and they can do
yeah, that's a
I
big
don't
liability.
know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the grades
No,
are
I mean, they
some
could get
feet.
the information,
Wow.
we should save the, if we can't fix it, we should save the information. I'm sure Skip would want that information.
There must be records somewhere of who is who in that cemetery, there has to be.
The
Yes.
town of
There may
Palatine
be.
has in their file cabinet, listing of everybody that's in every cemetery in the town of Palatine, and Skip Bearshite gave that to the town.
Very nice, thank you for that information. And Margaret, while we're on the subject, you and a group of folks were maintaining the one up by McDonald's. Do you intend to continue, or should I see if I can get ATI rather to work
That's a
with it?
private cemetery.
That's private, okay.
Private
Again,
cemetery.
thank you again for that information, I didn't realize.
Maybe on his floor, you might have some information with some grants or something that
Yeah,
might be able
yes,
to.
yes. Videotaping, I'm still monkeying with it. I've been not able to get around for a couple weeks here, but hopefully next month, we'll have this thing up and running. I have all the answers of questions council members have been able to look at from Katie, Association of Towns, concerning it. As a courtesy, they request that you post that the meetings will be taped, of course, and then you can ask them to identify themselves, but if they choose not to, that's not a problem either. They're not required to. And I have some other answers. We talked about monitors and so forth, and I have all those answers from Katie at the Association of Towns. So I'm going to try to finish this up and get it going next month. Another issue. I was at, Judge Duggan was nice enough to invite me to his court on May 10th, the A night. What I saw that evening, I think we need to, as soon as possible, execute Chris's plan to remodel this room and see if we can get the judge into his new office. I think at that point, what will help to streamline a little bit is maybe the judge could hold his court out here and the DA could be speaking with folks in there. I saw that was quite time consuming and cumbersome. And maybe a little scheduling so we don't have so many folks here all at once. I don't even know if that's possible. As everybody's well aware, summer's coming and boy, I don't know. We should try to
Gas prices are
schedule
down.
somehow, so there's not so many people in this room. And I think a little scheduling would certainly help that matter, and as well as implementing Chris's remodeling of this room would help the issue. Another little issue I had was we ran into a little issue about signatures on checks with the men getting their paychecks. There was a little problem there. Is there a way that we can get a rubber stamp or something?
Yeah, we're getting one.
Okay.
She ordered it.
Oh, very good.
Well, all you have to do is go down to the bank and have your name added, and you can sign the check upstairs now.
It's just a, you could just stamp it.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
There's
the
supposed to
board
be two people
decides.
on that account anyway. they're supposed to be. And I was
Yeah.
on it. Am I
You
off
should
of
be.
it now?
Are you on it?
No, I am not, I've never been informed.
Well, that's the thing. I want to make sure I'm off of it and someone else
Right,
needs to be
okay,
on it.
yeah.
Two people mandatory.
It should have been done in January when you.
Well, I am not unaware to this point in time.
Well, we
Yeah.
can fix that.
Yeah.
Neil, Beth Luck, Canterbury.
That luck, Kansas Harry?
I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, I'll introduce you.
She's downstairs.
Neighbor.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
That's who does it. And
That's, just go in there and see her.
yeah, that's who I went to years
Okay.
ago, and
That's
that's
it,
why
now.
I was able to sign the checks in the supervisor's absence.
We'll get you a packet. We'll do it.
Okay, all right, very good,
And
very
Rick
good.
can still be on it,
Yeah.
Yeah, she said Michelle may
too.
possibly still be
Michelle still
on.
may be on.
And
Well,
she'd like
She needs to
her
be
name
on.
removed.
I want it off.
I
yeah.
have.
That's what she's saying.
I feel like Kelly would have taken care of that, but
Okay, well, I don't know, I don't know.
I'll look into it.
But other than that, I guess that's pretty much all I have. And like I said, I think we should implement Chris's plan to remodel this room as soon as possible.
Have we gotten any estimates?
Yeah, we have estimates,
I'll
bids,
let Chris handle
drawings,
that.
and I'll talk to you about them.
I forgot to say, we're gonna do ethics comps on other towns in the area to see what their ethics statements look like.
Great.
That's one other thing I should have added.
Have you been in touch with the ethics board
Yeah.
itself? Our
Yeah.
ethics board, town
Yeah.
of Palatine?
The one that exists now, yeah.
And
Thank
that's-
you.
That's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Betty, can I?
I just want to say that we have a letter here that was from Mr. Subic in regards to the lawsuit. And it says that the town, I believe, won this lawsuit. And I just want to thank him for the work that he put into it. I know there was a question or something we were going to talk to Greg Dunn about, but he did put some time into this and it was in our favor. So with the Mr. McClung versus the town of
Dr.
Palatine.
Yeah,
So I want to thank him for that.
well, that's good. I would like to see our official finding and have Greg look over to make sure if there were any recommendations, that we do implement any recommendations in there. That letter was not a sufficient finding. I'd like to see the actual finding, and we should have it and know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he wasn't looped in on it. That's
Greg Dunn?
Greg,
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely
Wants to try to-
He was, so I
Okay,
don't know what
okay.
he called me about it.
I got a couple of things here. We have been in a hold pattern on any minor alterations here until we sit down with Justice Steigert, so I'm going to try to facilitate a meeting with him to show him what we have, and also to see if he would like to meet with Eli Kurtz, the designer of the bench, to see if they can come up with a final design, and then we can get a final cost figure on that. And I think once we get that done, we can just have a discussion on moving ahead with some minor changes there, which would also take away the one remaining PESH issue, because when we move the office, there's no issue with outlets, okay?
But those outlets are going in.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll have extra outlets and we'll have an office moved anyway, so it'll be fine. I don't know, we should probably have a email test to make sure that everyone can contact everyone in the chain on our, follow up our communications policy of last month that we adopted. And do we have do you have a complete list of everyone that you've given an email to? Okay, great. Could you forward that to me and I'll do a test and we'll see how it works out. How's that? Okay.
So you just want to do like a reply all?
Yeah, I want to do a round robin. Yeah, sure. If you want to send one out to reply all, and just I want to make sure that everyone that we gave an email to has it in response. So if we reply all, we know who we're replying to and who's in the list.
Okay.
That would usually be the job of the administrator, but since we don't have one yet, we can do that.
Right. Well, I'm administrating it right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can tell you definitively that now that, Betty, now that you need to just confirm that you can get onto your account. You say that you can get onto your account.
Did you give one to Art?
No, Art doesn't have one yet.
Okay, because in the CBA, there may be questions between Greg and I and Art that would be helpful.
I can add Art. The other, and then the other people are the council, and that's it.
That's it.
And I think there's probably not a problem with your email. I just haven't
I'll-
seen it since
I'll,
yesterday.
I'll-
So.
Well, it's come up before, that's why I was pointing it out.
Right.
But I'll do a
yeah.
test tonight with both of my email names, maybe all 3 or 4 of them. Your address and then your address at, I can't remember the name of
The
your firm.
Gmail, yeah.
But
Yeah.
just to see if any, I know some of them work, but I've just had
Right.
trouble with the town of Palatine's email as addressed to you. So that's the
Okay.
only thing that's happened.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
I got into it
Mm-hmm.
through that real long thing,
Mm-hmm.
but then how do I get in there afterwards?
Go to Gmail
Just
And
go to
just log
Gmail
in.
and just log in?
with the email address and your password.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then
okay.
you can just bookmark it and it's right there.
And you can even download this app called LastPass, which saves your password, and you don't have to have multiple memory passwords. You only have to have one, and it will open you up into everything you have. I use LastPass, so in other words, if you want to have your email accounts, and let's say you want to have social media, or you want to have our website, you can just type in one password, and it opens everything up for you at once. Okay? It's a great,
Someone hacks it and doing everything.
it's a great thing to have, and then you only have one super secret password. You don't have to remember everything. So
Yeah,
I use that because as I get
might
older, I
need to
forget
know.
everything. Yeah.
Getting into that, because like I'm not confused.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, on the CBA, I did have a meeting with Greg Dunn. We hashed through some items, and we'll talk about that in executive session because it would be a personnel matter at this point. But I do want to report on that. And we also got a proposal from a labor relations consultant who has done a number of work with multiple towns. And we'll discuss that agreement in executive session. And I think that's all I got at this point.
Okay. Any other reports?
Just, I sent flowers to Napa for their opening, and it's a really nice facility. They have a lot more room in there, so I'm really happy to see that something new is opened. And a neighbor of mine had a fire last weekend, the Leonard family. I went down there the next day and offered my services, any kind of help that they need. Right now, I think he's staying at the Holiday Inn, and he was unsure as to what they were gonna do, so, it was a tragedy.
So they had a call for a rekindle, and I know there was an adjuster there, which is good
Yeah.
news. So that's real
He was there
positive.
the day I was there.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that nobody was hurt and that it didn't happen at night when they were
Right.
sleeping or anything.
Oh, I did make initial contact with Mr. Smith, and we're going to talk about dry hydrants.
Okay.
Okay, but we're just in the very superficial stages of that. Just to remind you of that.
Okay. Any other council comments? Okay, let's move on to public comment. Any public? Margaret?
Sarah, I'm a little disappointed that this is the third time that I have to bring this up. You were supposed to draft a letter, give it to Linda, and have Linda send it out. And it was for the people who applied for positions on the planning board and the code of ethics, that you would thank them for their submission of their applications and their willingness to work for the town. So I'm disappointed that you didn't do that. You know, there's a little saying that says, there's two little words that can open any door with ease. One little word is thank you, and the other little word is please. I think those people deserve a thank you by you. It's 3 months old. It's longer than that. Long overdue, Sarah. You don't want to be known as the supervisor who didn't do.
Thank you, Margaret. Any other comments? Skip?
Phil, I've got to go back to the minutes of the last meeting for this comment. Under William Winsman. He, at that time, asked if there was a copy of the rules and regulations. He also asked if there was a litigation involving the ethics board, if the town would provide legal backing. Sarah Nicoli stated our town carries a blanket policy to cover all of the people working for the town. Now, when this litigation started before, it was not collectively against the town board. It was individually against every member of the town board, most of which I've known most of my adult life. I was concerned about that. If that lawsuit had gone against those individuals, just how much they were going to have to pay. Now, or if our insurance company would cover it. I then came and asked whether our insurance contract would indeed cover that, and I was told no.
Who did you ask?
I'll ask you right now.
Yeah, I'm positive that the officers of the town are covered. And if you'd like, I'm happy to follow up with our insurer. just
I
to
think
make
it would
sure.
be a good idea.
Okay, and so you
I think it would be a
specifically.
great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I know you are covered. I don't
Because-
know if you just you don't believe me?
It's just that I don't believe you. It is that for a good many years, or quite a few years in the 1960s, I helped manage an assessment company in this town.
Yeah, okay, I can tell you with assurance that we are covered. If it will make you feel better, if it will make you both feel better, I will call and make absolutely sure.
I'd like to see that in the policy itself. I'd like to see that in the policy
It is in the
itself.
policy.
We have a copy of it.
Yeah, we have a copy of the policy. Yeah. Linda, why don't you just share the copy
So,
with Skip?
in other words, if the people that were sued in this thing, if it had gone against them,
They would
they
not be
individually
personally
would not have had to pay anything. The insurance company would have paid for it.
That's right.
Okay.
Typically, if people do some sort of malfeasance that's against policy as part of an organization, they can become separable from the organization at that point and probably be successfully sued. But if they weren't, they were just proceeding on good faith, doing what the organization asked them to, then they're protected.
I helped it with a couple smaller organizations which finally did get insurance that would cover the officers and
Yeah.
the rest of those
Yeah.
people.
But if you do something criminal, even while employed by an organization, then
Yeah.
that's a different matter.
if you are sued and the lawsuit goes against you as individuals, that's what I'm talking about.
Right, and if if it was in line with what the organization was supposed to be doing, then typically they're protected.
Well, the lawsuit did specify what the town board members were supposed to do. So that's why I asked that question
But
before.
yeah, there's a lot of debates as to fine
Yeah,
point.
there is, all right.
I-
And the
I did
answer to
my-
a debate is not the proper time when you get a bill for what you failed to do.
We're covered in the policy.
Okay.
Linda, would you share that policy with both of these gentlemen?
Yep.
Yeah. Any other comments? Paul?
Just two quick questions. I asked you last month about the new renovations, and I understand now we're gonna go ahead with them. My question again, and nobody can give me the answer, what is the capacity of the court gonna be with the new renovations? Are we gonna lose, gain? If we're gonna not gain anything, why are we wasting our money?
We should gain to take that cubicle and move back there.
But that's where the bench is
Isn't that
going,
where,
right?
that's where the bench is going?
We don't even have drawings yet, so.
Oh,
we
because
won't be
Mr.
able to
Novak
answer
said he
until
did
we
have the
a
drawings.
We have a preliminary sketch, but nothing's been approved until we sit down with
All
Justice Geiger and then make a decision.
Okay, second of all, I'd like to bring up a point with this lawsuit that the town won with Mr. McGlone. All right, many of the board members condemned the old board. We argued over raising the legal fees for Mr. Subic. It got quite messy. I'd like the board now to make the recommendation, since we won it, to sue Mr. McGlone for Mr. Subic's fees, refund them back into the town general fund. You're talking thousands of dollars it costs the town and the taxpayers. You had like a cap on it for $6,000, you had to add it to 10 or 11. You have won this lawsuit. Why can't the board turn around and include Mr. Subik's fees, Mr. Dunn's fees for filing the paperwork? This is a no-brainer for the town to win this money back, instead of just saying, oh wow, we won on paper. Let's start playing dirty like the rest.
Any other comments? Cheryl?
Whatever happened to the historian and why? I thought he was gonna come like to our first meeting in January, and then he couldn't, and he was gonna come in February, and now the year's half over with, and I think I missed one meeting, and unless he was at that meeting, I haven't seen him. And why doesn't he have to submit a report like the rest of us appointed people do?
He's not paid at all.
Oh, not
It's
at
a
all?
volunteer position.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a paid position.
It's
It was in the
There
budget.
was a small amount of
Had a
pay.
grant, had a grant associated with it.
Did
Yeah.
she ask about it?
No.
It was in the budget.
This is salary.
Any other comments?
Hi, Bill Windsor from
Historian
the Board of
salary.
Ethics. Back again. I did get the law, and I was able to give it a couple of quick reads through. I have some questions. I'm looking for some direction. Can I get the names and phone numbers
Yes,
of
I
the
will give
other,
them to you.
other members? So I can, if it's okay, I'll organize a meeting with the Board of Ethics and try to get things rolling a little bit.
Bill agreed to start shepherding the group because I told him in no means did I want to do that. So, as I told you yesterday, I'm going to be forwarding that to you. I just haven't had a moment since then.
But the town's supposed to appoint a chairman of the board, and then the
Well, we
the
can't,
board-
we can't until the board all physically gets their bodies in one place.
If I read it correctly, the group meets, then
Okay.
they appoint a chairperson and a secretary.
Yeah.
And I've heard that there, in the law, it says there should be 3 members, but I've heard other people say there's 4 of us, I'm not sure. Once if I can get those names, I'll gladly get everybody together. Where do I meet with them? Do we do that in the town offices, somewhere else?
Yeah. Yeah. So Hank is your liaison.
Okay.
He can answer all of those questions, and you should definitely sit down if you haven't already. But you're most welcome to use the town meeting space here. Linda can get you any information like the other members of the Board of Ethics, the law, which sounds like you have already, any materials that you need. Linda is your contact, and Hank as well.
From my reading, it sounds like each of the 3 members of the Board of Ethics, one person should be appointed for a 3-year term, another for a 2, another for a 1. Do we know which of us is which at this point?
Yes.
No, we have to, don't we
No.
have to, oh, we do know.